We are all a product of who our fathers have made us to be. That is maybe argumentative, but allow me to go through the various types of fathers. The first type of father that I want to look at is the authoritative father. An authoritative father are fathers who are involved in their children's lives. They set clear guidelines and rules and give an explanation of these rules. Not just setting them, but they give an explanation. They involve the children. They explain to them even the expectations of the good or the bad way or the repercussions of those rules. What will befall them if they don't follow? If they follow, what will benefit? So that the children now can be able to make their own decision based on the facts that they have. They also provide warmth to the children. Their presence is felt by the children. They live with them, they play with them, they engage with them, they do things with them, they show them things. And the children now are happy to engage and to belong to the father. This is a nurturing father, a father who guides his children, a father who is concerned about how the children will grow. And this type of father, the children will always want to be around with. This kind of father, the children will not want to go against what he says because they know and they understand their benefit from following the guidance that the fathers have given them. The fathers are always there with them. They guide them. They walk with them. They are also understanding when the children make the mistakes. When they make the mistakes, yes, they're understanding. They will punish them when it needs to be punished, but they'll punish them with love and with explanation, not just shouting at them, not just quarreling them. The children actually will understand why they have been punished. And because of that, it's not easy to repeat that mistake at a later time. And even if they repeat, whether they are being watched or not, they will be knowing this is not right and I need to change and get away from it. So eventually, what kind of children come out now from the fathers, these kind of fathers? The children who are brought up by the authoritative fathers are children who are capable, they are happy, they are independent, they self-regulate, they are socially responsible, they are cooperative when they are doing things, they are self-assertive. These are children who are independent because they have been trained to do things and to know the good and the bad. They are independent in doing their own things. They are also cooperative because they know where they need to help, what they need to do at what time, because they have been trained and they enjoy doing what they are supposed to do because this is what they have been trained to do. And these children, they grow up being competent. They are, for them, they are being assertive and they are also competent. They have been affirmed. They know they will go for anything. They will try it because they believe they can go for it. They have been made to believe that they are equal to the task, that they are not useless. They can do it. And these are children who are turning the world today. So as we keep on complaining, children of nowadays, fathers, let us look back and ask ourselves, how did we bring up our children? The other type of father is the authoritarian father. The authoritarian father is a strict father. He's a father who believes in discipline, strict discipline, punishment without question. When you compare nurturing and discipline, punishment for him comes first. He stamps his authority by disciplining. And what he says, there is no room for questioning. So the children have to do what he says without any question. Irrespective of whether it is punitive or not, he does not entertain any questions. He does not accept any questions. So he's strict, he's demanding, and he is a father who wants his rules or his orders to be followed to the letter and to the question. He's a primary means of discipline. He wants obedience, he wants control, and that's the way he does it. So he instills fear into the children. The children will grow in fear that I have to do it because my father said it. If I have not done it, this is what will befall me. Punishment will come in. And this type of children, now they come they are hard because their parents are less responsive to their needs. You'll find that children cannot even express. They have no voice before their fathers. They cannot express themselves. They are so scared. They are so intimidated. They are fearful. They are living in fear. By the way, they don't even feel safe before their fathers because anytime they can be slapped, anytime they can be rebuked, anytime they can be shouted at. So they feel in fear and they are so timid in the course of living. Now, the children who live in this kind of style or who are brought up by this kind of fathers, they are prone to lying to avoid punishment. So they will start lying to cover themselves up. Even when they don't need to lie, they will do that to cover themselves up. They are always anxious, the fear of the unknown. They don't believe in themselves because they have been made to believe that they can't do anything until they are punished. They can't do anything until they are quarreled or until somebody now comes and forces it into them. So these children will grow up withdrawn. They are withdrawn from circumstances. They are withdrawn even from others. By the way, these children will always fear other men by just seeing them. They fear anybody called a father because they always relate and feel like it is the same as their father. They are pathetic. For the girls, they become too shy. But for the boys, they become hostile. Hostile because now, and even when they go out there, because of the way they have been oppressed home without giving us space, out there, because they think everybody knows how they have been behaving and everybody, that's the way they are, they will want also now to react. So they become very emotional. They are not able to self-regulate themselves. They are unmotivated. They are incompetent. They cannot even be able to compete when others are. And to cover up for that, they, like I have said, they become hostile, they become violent, and are always emotional. At the spike of something like that, very small, they are always up and phew. Either they are quarreling or they are fighting, they are pushing one around, and that's the way they are. The other type of father is the permissive father. And just like the word, you are permissive to the child, permissive behavior from the child. You are lenient. You have low demands over their performance and their discipline as compared to nurturing. The boundaries you set, you are lenient in the boundaries. You don't want to hurt them. You are a children pleaser. You are always a good father to them. So no boundaries. The punishment is never punishing. And when you punish, you may punish and withdraw sometimes. So these children now live to know there are no boundaries. They are not been taught to take up authority, to respect authority. They think that they can buy their way in everything or in whatever else it is. Then there is now, because you have inconsistent in your behavior methods, the children cannot even be able to know what is expected of them. They are not guided, and they live now with low expectation, the low expectation of a maturity for themselves and self-control. So that's the way they live. They have low expectations over themselves, low control. And these children eventually now, they grow up to be impulsive. They grow up to be children who have no set boundaries. They grow up to be children who are not used to understanding or respecting authority because you have never trained them to respect authority. They grow up, and when out there they go and the world is punitive, or they get to situations where now they have to be punished, they reject because they have never been able to do punishments. You always never let them to be able to do it. They struggle with setting boundaries. They struggle in setting limits for themselves. They have poor self-regulation. They are not able to regulate even their emotions because you are too friendly with them. They never knew, and you never was able to be firm in when they are doing wrong so that they can know that it is wrong. So they were never guided. And they have low expectation. They have low happiness authorities. These children, they always live to be dependent because they cannot be able to do things on their own. You have never trained them, so they will be dependent. They will be expecting the father to guide them, to father to show them what to do all the time or to do it for them. When they can't do it, you are permissive. Instead of showing them, you do it for them. So they are used to seeing you do, but they never do because you do it for them. When it is an assignment, even a school assignment, which is difficult, you come and do for them. Instead of showing them and guiding them that they can do, but because it is tough, because he cries, because he is emotional, you come in and you are permissive and you do it for them. You are spoiling your son. And eventually he ends up being indisciplined. He ends up being immature. He cannot take risks out there. Anything that is too difficult, no, this one I don't do. This one I can't do. This one I don't know how to do. And out there, when he outgrows and lives under your care, he'll always be turning back to you because you have always done it for them. So eventually out there, because they can't do things on their own, they become manipulative. They will have to manipulate situations. They will have to manipulate others. They will have to cheat, even in the exams or in assignments. They will have to manipulate others to do assignments for them because they don't want to expose themselves. So they become manipulative. And again, the other thing about these children is they become self-centered. You show them too much love, you show them too much passion, and they become now self-centered. Out there, when they go out there, they're wondering, how comes I can't get what my dad was showing me? So most of the children out there, and you employers out there, you have people that you have employed that they cannot be able to take up initiatives, they cannot be able to take up tough jobs and whatever. You wonder, what kind of children are these? Then it boils back again to you, Father. What kind of a child are you bringing up? The other type of father is the uninvolved father. And just like the word goes, uninvolved. They could be meeting the needs of the children, but they're emotionally distant, emotionally uninvolved. They are just there, passive, they cannot be felt. The children's needs are being met, yes, but this child will never feel the father, will never see the father guiding, will never see the father involved in their lives, will never feel the father directing them or punishing them or quarreling them. Whatever they do, it's like he is not seeing what is happening. It's like it does not concern them. So the children are left confused. Does it mean what I'm doing is okay? Does it mean he doesn't care? Does it mean? So they live with that area of confusion as they are doing it. So they have little fathers, these fathers have little communication with the children. They are less responsive to the children's needs. A child will say, this is the dad, can I have this? Dad, can I do this? Dad, can I do? You either look at them or you're unresponsive or your answer is just too brief and confusing. So the child doesn't know, is it yes or a no? So these are fathers who they could even be in the house when the children are there, but they are busy either on their laptop or on their phone, or they are busy with the remotes of the TV and the decoders, and they are watching whatever program they are watching. So their presence is there but not being felt. So the children now grow up being confused. The children grow up without that proper guidance. The children grow up without involved fathers, and therefore they lack the fatherhood, they lack the guidance, they lack the discipline, they lack the authority, they lack the consequences of doing the wrong things. They lack affirmation when they do the right things, and therefore they are just left there. And these kind of children now live feeling abandoned. They feel being neglected. They feel like nobody is there for them because the father is the one who calls out masculinity. A father is the one who affirms and even calls out the girl into the leadership. So when you are not doing it, the children are left there. They feel abandoned, and they end up now growing with low self-esteem. They end up growing with less self-control. They have no self-control for them. They perform poorly in examinations. They perform poorly out there, even in the workplaces. They perform because they have nothing to benchmark with. They have nothing to be able to, or that correctiveness, somebody who has been correcting. So they just do things because they have to be done, or they do things their own way. They end up now having depression and anxiety, and eventually these children are likely to have mental breakdowns. They are likely to have mental breakdowns because most of the times, and in what they do, now they have challenges of they don't know how to do it or how to gauge it. So that's the problem now with the fathers who are uninvolved. These children will live to be unmotivated. They will live now to be indifferent, like from the others, because they have not been being corrected. Nobody has been correcting them. And eventually they end up being destructive because they want some attention. They want to seek some attention. They also get detached from people and from others, even from their peers, and they become socially incompetent. So they become loners, they will live alone, and that's why they are candidates of depression and eventually may lead to mental breakdown. So, fathers, you are out there. What is it that you have done to your son? What is it that you have caused your son? Watch out. Your son needs you, your daughter needs you. Children will need us. Children will need us to be involved. The other kind of father I want to look at is the absent father. And allow me to look at the absent, not because of death. The father is alive, but he is absent from the child's life. And there have been many situations of children who have ended up in crime because of absent fathers. They have not met their fathers, or they met their fathers, but their fathers are never there in their lives. Could be for a reason, either they separated with their mothers, or they divorced with their mothers, or they remarried and are now less concerned with that family. And these children have completely now been abandoned, feeling abandoned. They are bitter because of the parents leaving them. And they are even, I met a child who was wondering why the father left, and eventually he blames himself because he says, before I was born, because he's a firstborn, my mother and my father, when I hear their good stories, they were living happily. But after I was born, under some years, differences came up and they separated. So the boy thinks he's the cause of their separation. So he lives under that fear. He cannot believe in himself. He thinks he is a reject. He actually feels a reject. These are children who have emotionally been neglected. And because the fathers have not been there, then now they have low self-esteem. They cannot believe in themselves. They cannot attach to anything. And when they want to do things, they feel everybody is seeing them. They feel everybody knows that they have not, their fathers are not there in their lives. And they want to cover up for that. And quite a number of them, unfortunately, cover up in the wrong way. And they end up in crime. They end up in substance abuse. And a number of them are in prisons. Research has been done, and you'll find that in most of the countries, when you do the research, all those that are in prison, over 70%, especially of the boys, over 70% in any prison is most likely children who are not brought up by their fathers. Their fathers were absent. So, father, are you there? This child needs you. This child needs to feel you. This child needs to know that you care about him. Whether you are living with him or not, but are you there in his life? Can he feel, can he have the pride of saying, yes, I know my father. My father spoke to me the other day. It doesn't matter how long he spoke to me, but he believes in me. He affirmed me. He tells me I can do it. And that child, his life can be changed. So let's be there, fathers. Let's stand back and let's see what we can be able to do for these children, because we are responsible for these children. God made you a steward. He gave you that child at the expense. There are so many other parents who have been crying and over years and praying to get children. They don't have children. But you abandoned your child. That child needs you. And God is calling upon you. Get back to your son. Get back to your daughter. And his life will change. Thank you. Finally, Father, let us be there for the children that we are given by God. It's a gift, and children are a gift from God. So for those children, let us be there. Let us be there and go beyond being just a father, beyond just being a parent. Let us be there to mentor them. Let us be there to guide them. Let us be there to affirm them. Affirmation is very important for a child as a child is growing up. In their development, they need that affirmation. They need that affirmation. Even when he does something wrong, somebody will tell him, try next time, you will still make it. Don't give up. Quitters never win, and winners never lose. He needs to hear that from you. He needs to hear that confirmation so that he can go and even take up the life challenges that are there. So be there as a role model for your son, for your daughter. Your child depends on you. Your child is looking up on you. And don't forget, children don't just go by what we tell them. They go by what we show them to do. So get involved. Get involved with your child. Do something together with your children. Play around with them. Do some chores with them. Get out, walk with them, play a ball, play a game. It doesn't cost so much. It's not costly. The issue of just taking children out to have fun, they will go to the swings, they will go to the bouncing castle, they will go to the trampolines. They will be happy, but they are still disconnected from you because that is not time with you. So be there, fathers, and let us support our children as they grow up. Let us get engaged. Let us shape their character. Let us help them to navigate through the life's challenges, and we will never regret. That is what we are called to do, and that is what we should do.